That's the history of the.
That I like. It's a beautiful train.
The train down here. And well, I was curious about the number to begin with because that 389 is also in the manufacturer's serial number on the other side of the engine. Is manufacturer. You see down there on the lower on the coaches. The front coach, the last coach.
Yeah, right up there.
And the other coach is on the other side. I figured they changed employees left-handed to right-handed. Got the manufacturer's plate on the other coach. Anyway, it also says CP Huntington.
Are you a train guy?
I play with it. This is my toy.
This is your toy?
This is I'm building this right now.
I was gonna say,
looks like it's missing.
That's the driver. Yeah, that's the drivers, and they idled. They just idled on the track because the power comes from the front four wheels and the rear four wheels. You can see the drive shaft through there.
It just doesn't look right without.
I know. It looks like, to me, it looks like somewhere with false teeth that they forgot to put it in.
Yeah.
Well, your water tower is pretty authentic looking.
Well, it's not going to hold water. I've got to cut that one board to make it fit. I've got it measured. But I've been building that one, and that's what I've been doing out here today. And I'm going to have the pipe that comes out and hangs over the track.
Yeah.
And,
We saw it for a bit.
Yeah, that's. Oh, yeah, it's gonna go up there. That's.
It's gonna. Well, it'll be permanent. Because I'm gonna have chains hooking on those items over out there. And, but it's all bleeding already.
I think your cap is off your hydraulic tank.
Could be.
Yeah, it looks like it. There's a cap dangling.
Oh, that's. Oh, oops. That's what that is. That's the sand box for the sanders. See, on real trains, one of the domes up here is the sander.
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, when the ice and snow's on the tracks, to get their traction, the
Sand it,
engineer releases sand.
Yep.
Well, this one is dummy.
I was gonna say.
That's just a play line. We do have a sander here, and we have a switched operator. But out here is where the sand is, where it goes. Yeah, there it is. We've already lost one tube, but you see the other. Yeah.
So it's gonna have one side stronger than the other.
On this side, and that's where we could actually discharge sand.
Okay.
So it's gonna have one side with better grip.
Well, they've already ordered the other one for. I don't know how it ever came off. That buckle loading it because I discovered that it was missing, and I have looked around the.
Could have bumped something.
Well, it's threaded.
It's threaded. You have to just.
It's all
back
threaded. It has to have vibrated. Oh.
Maybe someone just reached in and removed it.
It takes them over the wrench to get it unless it was.
Look, our problem that happened a couple of weeks ago. When I run the train, I sit on the other side, the engineer's side, and I look out and watch it. And the driver wheel was turning. They just rest on the tracks, and they're showing tail.
Sure.
And I had not paid any attention to this one. I came back from lunch after last Tuesday week, and one of the girls was running it. And she was coming around here, and I looked and saw this wheel wasn't turning. It was just stationary. The other one was turning. Of course, they're on separate axles. I thought, what the heck? Got over here and started looking. It had frozen on the driver wheel.
A big old flat spot on it.
Flat side about that long. And what happened, we got a guy from maintenance came over here, trying to free it up. We thought that this drive shaft here inside had frozen because, and he said there's no oil in here.
Yeah.
Well, somebody told me that when they saw this originally from Chance Manufacturing, he said, "Oh no, you don't need any oil in there anymore.
There's nothing tight fitting enough in there to
So leave it alone." And although the manual talks about oil.
The manual says
The
oil.
manual, yeah. And believe me, we're going to oil it. Anyway, but he got it loose and he took this off.
Yeah.
And that shaft in there was somewhat free. We still couldn't move this. He unbolted these nuts here, and down in here was the end of a bolt, a threaded bolt about that
Ooh.
long.
Yeah.
That was wedged was underneath it. When they built this, clamped this down, it was stuck underneath it. You could see the groove it has made.
Yeah. Yep.
The channel that it
Yep.
Ooh.
and it finally folds up and
Lock it up solid, yeah.
and then that's why the wheel didn't turn. So Ryan Hill, the director of the park, he's concerned with chance. We've had 2 or 3. We've had a heck of a vibration in this one that we didn't have in the whole.
Yeah, I thought I felt what going over the switch.
Yeah.
The
You
switch
could
joints.
tell. You could tell where
Yeah.
it looks like it's been losing some oil.
With that diesel fuel.
Ah.
Oh.
And the kids that work here come out here with a heavy 5-gallon can
Oh,
of
they can't
diesel
handle it and they
fuel.
spill. Trying to.
They have to get a funnel.
Oh, there we go.
Right there. Yep. Okay.
They open this up and they're sitting there trying to pour that diesel fuel in that funnel in here. It slops all over everything. In fact, this little rubber thing here was all deteriorated, wasn't even. I went out to Chance and they gave me another one of these.
Yeah.
And I stuck it on there and I cut it off there because the other side was all right. So I've got the other half of it in case we need it later. But they swap diesel fuel. And it gets back, well, all back in here. This is the tank.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's the fuel tank. And it gets, well, yeah.
Something you don't get to see every day.
So I told them, I said, if you're going to refuel it, put a plastic bag over this. Protect this from that diesel fuel because all it's going to do is deteriorate that adhesive again.
Get them a barrel pump.
Well, I had thought about
Yeah.
a tank up here with a hose.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, with
Yeah,
how
but a barrel pump would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
and with how saturated the ground kind of looks like if someone would drop a cigarette, might.
Yeah. Yeah. If you just had a platform here with put the can up here and put a barrel pump on it,
Yeah.
and then they can just
Maybe
break the siphon whenever.
Maybe make it look like a miniature water tower.
Yeah. Is the front light work too?
Yeah, the headlight work,
Headlights work.
the bell, the whistle.
Yeah, I asked him not to do the whistle because I'm sound sensitive.
Okay. Well, I even put the whistle code up. None of the kids,
Yeah.
quote unquote, understand the whistle code on railroads.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I got it coded right there.
you're supposed to like.
Two long blasts when you're getting ready to leave, releasing the brake and leave. When you come to a crossing, it's too long to shorten the long. You hear the rail trains coming, and you'll hear him whistle. Too long to shorten the long.
Is this your volunteer job or you? I was going to say you're passionate enough to where I usually can tell a volunteer.
I volunteered 3 years ago. I belong to the Garden Railroad Club.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, we're having our tour next the 16th
Right.
of September. And I've got a Garden Railroad in my backyard.
Oh,
A
really?
little one. And our big one's over at Botanica.
Right.
And our club, of course, the Botanica one was donated by Gene Spears.
Right.
About 6 years ago.
Yes, I remember that.
And our club built that for Botanica layout. And we
So-
continue to service and maintain it.
Well, guess what I'm going to go on the
It'll be-
16th. My dad was a fanatic model railroader, and he did a lot of projects with. He played at having a layout, but he never really had a real layout. I think he did more to help the club have their layout.
He would also mess with them. He had a engine that had like a weak motor, so it was always so slow,
Yeah,
but it could pull the longest loads. And he would have it,
powerful.
and he'd put it down, and the others would just hate it when he brought it, so they would try to hide it from him every time.
Well, Dad always said that he wanted that somebody was trying to sell one of those little, mini carnival trains, and he said, "Yeah, I'm going to get one of those and put it in the backyard." Actually, cleaning out his house, I'm glad he didn't. But I mean,
I wish I could learn how to drive one of these things.
You don't drive a train.
yeah.
It doesn't have a steering wheel.
That's right.
It follows the track.
You know what I mean.
You run a train or you operate
Ride a
it.
train, but you don't.
You don't drive.
Don't
You don't
drive
drive
it.
it.
Yeah.
Been
you know?
actually been doing a lot of.
They always call me the conductor, and I'm not a conductor. I take care of the engine. The
Engineer. Mm-hmm.
Conductor takes care of the
Passenger, right? Yeah, you're the engineer. Yeah. This is
Always
I
been.
slowly get people thinking,
But so this is well. This
But
is
I play. Brian Hill lets me play with this thing. I have miniature lights that I can hang around the roof line of the coaches.
Yeah, I noticed that.
you
little
do
miniature
the
lights.
Christmas polar.
The
Yeah.
Polar Express.
Chris, yes.
you know,
Yeah.
And the Halloween spook train. And Halloween is the first one I did with the orange lights.
Right,
on there.
right.
And then Christmas time I've got the Christmas lights. 4th of July I had the red, white, and blue lights.
Yeah.
Well, they were operated on 110 volts, like your house. Brian doesn't give me a long enough extension cord.
I saw
So
your
I bought-
I saw your inverter in there.
I bought and donated to the park this inverter, and I did my own wiring for my 110 volts. And then at Halloween, I have a bale of hay that I put in here, and I've got a 5-foot skeleton that sits on the bale of hay and waves at you.
You know,
We go around.
Do you lock the train up at night?
Oh yeah.
I was going to say
Yeah.
right over there in that house.
That was the original train ship. The original.
I noticed there was another one that had 2 doors on both sides, way down the line.
You can see it from right here, right down through there, through the trees. You see that shiny roof?
Yeah.
That was the newer one. That used to be, as I understand, between the 2 ponds. That was a pedestrian bridge across the river. And when they extended the track out, they did have a turnaround here, and up at the campfire circle,
Saw
the
that,
other
yeah.
turnaround,
Yeah.
which we don't use anymore. But that was the original layout. But then when they extended the track, they came down there, they built that train shed over on the bridge. And that's where we kept the train with 2 coaches. We got our 3rd coach. it
Wouldn't
won't
fit.
So now we go back to this one. And Brian's been talking about working that shed. It's got a lot of aches and pains. It needs a lot of work.
You know, there's something called Train Simulator,
Yeah,
and they have a Halloween train
yeah.
that you can use. It looks like one of these, and on the front, right where the little number is, there's like a giant jack-o'-lantern face on it to make
I fasten on the cow catcher. I fasten a 3-foot skeleton
yeah.
on there, and I tell the little kids that this is what happens to you if you don't get off the track. And then I got a buzzard that I put up on top of the sand dome.
Yeah.
An old black buzzard that's sitting there looking at you. So like I say, I play with it.
Well, I'm glad.
Brian pretty much lets me.
Well, I thank you for everything you do. I can tell how passionate you are about this
Well,
little
and then like
endeavor.
I say, with the Garden Railroad down there, the club down at Botanica and our Garden Railroad, we're gearing up for that. In fact, I talked Brian into letting us have a display down here this time.
Try to draw
We got-
people.
Well, not necessarily. On number 4 there, shoulder number 4, one of the members has a live steam engine on G scale.
Ooh.
You know, a little engine
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this, and he fires it up, and it's live steam. He's going to have that on display. down
Yeah,
here.
I know. I'm getting the camera. I'm coming. Okay?
You better.
My-
If you don't, I'm gonna strap you down to that track and have him go full speed towards you.
Well, over there already there are those tour guides inside there in the concession, and it's on the rack there, and it's in black and white, but it says Wichita Train Club, whatever, tour. And you can get one of those. Got a map of the United States, Wichita. Where we're
well, all of
located.
them that are going to
There's
be.
about 7 of us who are having displays. 16.
Yeah, the guy driving didn't really seem that amused.
Yeah.
He wasn't driving.
Well,
Remember, he wasn't driving.
He was following the tracks.
The engineer.
Yeah. He was following the tracks. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, they don't pay any attention to my whistles.
Oh,
Signals and
I work with grad students.
okay.
Yeah, from that certain age, they're.
Uh-huh.
You can post things, you can tell them things, you can suggest things, but
Well, it's a difference. It's a difference between just playing with or running an amusement ride
Yep.
and working with a railroad.
Yeah.
In
It was-
fact, I told Brian, I said, when I first came down here to volunteer to run this thing, I said, Brian, don't get at me, but I like to see this more than an amusement road.
Yeah.
I want to see it as a railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made the white crossing signals, four pairs of them as you go around.
Yeah.
I made those, came out, dug holes, set them in concrete, and I didn't put one over here because that crossing signal was coming. So, but I've got my post, my W post back down there. That's where the engineer whistles. It's his whistle signal. And then I do my water tower, the old-fashioned, like over in Beaumont, Kansas, the Frisco. water
Petticoat
tower.
Junction Water Tower.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's before.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'll,
that just aged.
I'll tell you
by.
that.
I didn't even think about Petticoat Junction, but you're right.
I'll tell you this.
When the
The
girls are up there.
Yeah, swimming in the water tower.
Yeah.
tell you
I'm
this.
not going to have water in this one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. The guy that was sitting up there this time wasn't really
No,
being
no, no.
a little reckless.
They don't have the. What was I say?
He kind of started speeding up on turns.
The issues of the railroad.
It's a job, not a
Yeah,
not a
exactly.
passion.
It's a job. It's not a passion.
that's
Yeah.
true,
Yeah. Yeah. It's It's.
I just
You don't speed up
The
on
track- no,
on
the
curves.
the tracks will talk to you.
Yeah.
They'll talk to you right now because they're not greased.
Yeah.
And one couple kids, we've got a can in there just greased with old paintbrush.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out over there on the hill by McLean Pass. That's my sign.
Yeah.
McLean Pass and Moldville.
Moldville,
saw it, yeah.
Yeah.
Going up that hill, I was losing traction.
Yeah.
And we were out here greasing the top of the track.
Oh.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
You grease the
Side
inside.
of the track.
The inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, right where it cut. Yeah.
You just want the flanges,
Yeah.
not the.
For the flange of the wheels, and then particularly on curves.
Yeah.
And
And you don't speed up on curves either.
There's no grease.
I thought I heard quite a bit of squeaking and groaning.
That's it. Yeah. Going around those curves.
Yeah.
And well, I had shortly after we got the new coach, the front truck, front four wheels, changed the track for me as I was coming around those curves before I come into the old train bar. And couldn't figure out what in the world was that thing that jumped the track. Well, they got it back on and everything. I made myself a gauge.
Yeah.
Made my trap gauge.
Ah, there you go. Yep.
24 inches, plus or minus an eighth. And I can go around and check, and where most of the problems seem to be is where they join the track on a curve, and they won't get this deep enough, and that joint is like this instead of like this.
Yeah.
Heat makes it.
And the flange, as you're going around the track, your flange on the opposing wheel, well, the flange on the opposing wheel, but that one up there, the problem was it was 23 1/4 inches.
Yeah.
not
Climbed it.
24. And it crawled up over,
Mm-hmm.
it crawled on the curve, it crawled up over the track and people.
And also, there's people who like to try to put little rocks and
You gonna
stuff
take
on the
'em?
track.
Go ahead. I'm.
Now I'll get some footage of it going.
So there's a couple spots where they can throw a shirt and look like it goes like this.
Well, that's because the way they laid the track. And it's where their joints.
Yeah.
Joints like this. When they laid the track, they didn't make it hard.
That part is
And of course, he forgot the whistle.
It's quiet enough. I thought it was propane. I didn't realize it was diesel.
Diesel, it's diesel. It's a four-cylinder Kubota. Chance use on
Yeah.
basically all of it. Yeah, I had the opportunity, this engine was in construction. I had the opportunity to go to Chance plant to see.
Do they really have a roller coaster set up in that building?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Have you heard that the Union Pacific Big Boy is almost fully restored?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Soon going to be going down the track under its own steam. Under his own steam.
Well, my HO said I've got a Challenger,
I got
which is
with my
dual 3 drivers.
Yeah.
with my HO, I've got either the Big Boy or the Challenger, and I also got that.
Challenger has 3 drivers and the Big Boy has 4.
And I also got that Union Pacific cab forward.
Oh, yeah.
Then I have a complete NMRA train from engine commemorative, from engine all the way to the final coach.
Dad had trains,
Yeah.
N scales, HOs,
Z scales,
Z scales,
brass.
all over the house.
I can imagine.
And
Well,
so
I've got an HO down in the basement.
Oh, we found
I've got 36 steam engines and 9 diesels.
oh man,
Consider
I wish
my
Dad had an
passion is-
inventory like that.
Well, my dad fired on the Rock Island for 3 years after World War II.
Oh,
Up in Kansas City in the Armadale district. And I was born at Harrington, which was the division point for
yeah,
the Rock Island.
right, exactly.
At Harrington, one track came down to Wichita area and on into Oklahoma and Texas. The other track turned to Georgia and went west across southern Kansas and New Mexico.
Dad's layout, he was always following the Smiths Tanner, Mudville, and Chance Farm, which I think was a made-up name, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was based off of the MOPAC,
Oh,
Missouri Pacific,
Missouri.
because we were,
Mop.
yeah, the mop. He was called a mop watcher, and we lived in Bryan, Texas,
Sure.
and College Station, Texas, which basically was a train stop. That's where A&M is at. But Dad had trains everywhere, and
Oh, you should have seen what happened when we found his box of rolling stock. I fought to keep that box, and it's currently hidden away in my room. I'm not going to say where.
Okay.
but
At least
he,
you found it.
yeah, he found it. I think the biggest find that they found was the Lionel.
Oh, yes, original Lionel
It
in
was
a
one of
hidden
the
room.
Original Lionels, and some of the box you could still read were the original boxes.
Back in the 30s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think we were thinking it was maybe late 30s, early
Yeah,
40s.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know Lionel with their 3-track.
That's what this was.
Because your middle track was your positive.
Right.
And your ground was on the outside.
Yeah. That's what this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. And the thing was is that when we looked at the year that was on it, I think it was actually older than Dad.
Sure.
And I think he was bought by a grandparent for him or something when he was born.
Well, that used to be a real fascination. Right now, I mean, people, I sense younger generations really don't appreciate the train.
No.
They don't. There's no passengers.
Yeah.
All they see is freight trains, and they get upset because they have to wait 10 minutes for a 4-mile train to go through the crossing.
We were eating lunch today, and I was just talking about how these guys are from Texas, and I live here in Wichita, and I was thinking, well, you know, I'd like to take the South Chief and go from Newton down to Austin or Taylor, Texas. And I mean, you can get a one-way down for $91.
You know, I fussed at a kid online for a video they made with one of their HO engines. They did something you don't really do with it. They had it slightly on the track and had a bit of metal making sparks appear. You don't do that. That damages the motor.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you're just a hater.
I lived in Atchison for a while, so I have Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe. Yeah. So and you guys have been to that depot down there, haven't you? Yeah, that's what I thought.
She actually stole a Santa Fe diesel engine that my grandfather bought me when I was 5.
I did.
You stole it. You stole it after we found it.
I did.
Most of my Jeep HO is either Santa Fe or Rock Island.
And you know well now, isn't Rock Island part of that Wichita Railroad company that's, what's the name of the company that runs that Wichita line off of Cape?
That's not Rock Island.
That's not Rock Island?
That's the one that goes across the river and up to Newton.
Yes.
Oh, I also...
Hutchinson.
Yes.
Goes through Yoder.
Yeah, the ones that have got the...
What do they call mid-Kansas,
Yeah. Well, maybe it merged with one of those lines that was up in eastern Kansas. And I can't remember what it was.
And I don't think it was part of the Frisco.
No.
Frisco did come into Wichita one time. Came from Beaumont, or came from the east to Augusta and Andover. And then the eastern Wichita, in fact, at 17, Oliver and 17, Woodlawn and 70 is the old railroad bed.
The old railroad bed that they turned into a bike rack, and they're so proud of themselves for. Yeah. That, you know what?
The old Frisco.
As a bike person, those old railroad beds that they either put asphalt over, and basically what they did is they just put asphalt over the rocks. Those are not a good place to ride. Well, and there's also one of the bike paths that go underneath the Johnny Mac Bridge, and it's a real tight turn. And I was telling them, I said, you know, and you go underneath a railroad bridge. And one of my friends was going.
That's on down here. That's the old Rock Island Railroad Bridge, which is now UP.
Yeah, well, apparently there was a train going over it. There's no way in the world I'd have ridden my bicycle underneath that railroad bridge with a train going over it.
Heaven knows something's gonna fall out.
Yeah.
I gotta get going. So.
Well, we do too. Thank you. Yes.
See ya.
Thank you.